All right, all right. Here to talk about Precision Pack application innovation, please make some noise as we welcome to the stage the Application and Innovations Platform Lead from FMC, Rick Ekins.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, FFA. Thanks for coming. I realize it's late in the day, but I'm going to ask you to do a little thinking. Is that okay? Okay. And by little, I literally mean thinking small. Now, agriculture is a huge business around the world. It's a huge business. And the need for what we do every day grows every day because the number of people who depend on us also grows every day. So how can I stand up here and talk about this humongous business and ask you to think small? Well, maybe what you're thinking about is precision ag. Because isn't that what we talk about all the time, precision ag? Yes, we absolutely do. But are we also talking about prescription agriculture? Do you know what I mean by that? All right, let's talk about it. How many of you are growing up on a crop farm now? I didn't say have grown up because I assume you're not all grown up yet. Maybe that's wrong. Okay, so you have experience filling up a spray tank to spray a field to protect against insects or diseases or weed control, yes? Right, nodding heads, that's good. Got your attention. So you understand the first thing you have to do is fill that spray tank up, right? And usually with a bunch of different products, because we need a bunch of different products to alternate our modes of action for resistance management strategies and efficacy for crop protection. And that often takes several different products. So you know the drill. You measure out a product, you pour it in the tank, start the agitator, get the process going, measure out the second one, do the same thing all over again. And we have to pay attention to how we're adding these products to the tank because we know if we don't put the right formulation in at the right time, the whole thing turns to gook. Yes? Who's seen gook? It's okay, you can admit it. Yeah, we've all done it. That's right. And that's a big mess. But that's not the only mess. What about that mess? Because at the end of the spray season, what you have is this giant pile of rigid plastic containers that somebody, probably one of you, has to triple rinse and puncture and haul to the shredder. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look like a lot of fun, does it? You know, the Southern Waste Information Exchange estimates that agriculture in the US uses about 1 billion pounds of plastic annually. That's billion with a B. And they also estimate that we only recycle about 10% of that. So who's good at math? What's 10% of 1 billion? Anyone? A whole lot? Yeah. It leaves a whole lot of plastic that's essentially just waste. Now, FMC and most of our peers in the industry are members of ACRC. And this is an industry-funded, not-for-profit organization that collects up most of that 10% and recycles it. Okay, but if we really want to make a difference, the best thing we can do for our industry is to reduce the amount of plastic that we use. So how do we do that? What if we could take that big pile and convert it into something simpler? Convert it into something much smaller, something that uses ounces of plastic instead of pounds of plastic. Do you think that's possible? Yeah? You've been reading my script? Or you have an expectation that something's coming, don't you? It absolutely is possible. And that's why I asked you about prescription agriculture. And we have a technology at FMC called Precision Pack that does exactly that. So let's have a look. Precision Pack is a custom metering and blending system that is designed to independently measure up to 6 different ingredients and blend them into one finished product that you dump straight into your spray tank. And we have several of these systems in the United States and Canada, because we started in the US and the Canadian wheat market with herbicides. So that's where we began this process. Now what this machine does is it takes that custom blend and puts it into a bag that looks a lot like this. In fact, this is actually one of the bags that we use. for Precision Pack Custom Blends. So that product combination, that precise blend of as many as 6 different ingredients that is prescriptively applied to your farm based on your specific crop protection needs. So if you have a weed control issue and you know that it's going to take 2 or 3 or 4 different ingredients to control that weed, we can blend those 2 or 3 or 4 different ingredients right in this bag. And this is all you need to take to the farm. So, would you like to see how this works? Why don't we go ahead and do that? So we're using dry formulated products on top of Precision Pack. Okay, and each of those products comes in a container that's designed to lock specifically into one position on that machine, both for the sake of security, so we know that it's not moving while the dispensing process is happening, but also it's only configured to one position on the machine, and that means it's physically impossible to put a product in the wrong position on the machine. And obviously that's important because we want to make sure we're dispensing the right ingredients according to the prescription. Okay, so let's create a little bit of contrast here. Liquids usually come in a rigid plastic container like this. And normally a liquid formulation is going to be a low concentrate, high use rate product, and there's generally a lot of water in the formulation. Okay, so this 2.5 gallon container right here, when it's full, is going to weigh about 24 pounds. And let's say that this has an 8 ounce use rate. That's probably pretty standard on a per acre basis. Okay, so 2.5 gallons, 8 ounces per acre. How many acres? 40. I figured it out earlier. It's too late for that kind of math, isn't it? All right. What you see on top of Precision Pack is a 35-pound bag. And these are dry formulated products that are typically high concentrate products, which means they're much lower use rate products. And in that 35-pound bag, these are products that are used at a fraction of an ounce per acre, 1/3 of an ounce, 1/2 an ounce. So if you took 35 pounds at a 1/2 ounce per acre, you'd come up with more than 1,100 acres of crop protection. What'd I say was in here? 40. 1,100. It would take almost 30 of these to treat the same number of acres as one of those. You think that might be important? Yeah. So we store these products separately in separate bags. We also dispense them separately during the blending process. So you see that each of those products is measured into a dedicated weigh bin that's dedicated only to that one product. And we do that because we don't want to risk any cross-contamination if you have an active ingredient that might not be appropriate for the crop that you're treating. So we keep them separate in the package, we keep them separate throughout the blending process, and the products don't actually commingle until they are blended into that bag. And that commingling, that prescription, the rate of each of those blends is controlled entirely by the software, and it's controlled by the prescription that you have fed into that machine according to your specific crop protection needs. This is a closed system. That drawer on the bottom of Precision Pack magnetically locks during dispensing. Means you can't open it. We're trying to limit exposure during the blending process. And also within Precision Pack is a dust collection system. As those dry products are being blended into that bag, any dust that's created by friction, as those granules rub together and they fall into that bag, we're pulling that dust off through a filtration system. We're capturing that. So what you get when it comes to your farm is a nearly dust-free product, already blended at the right rates for the right acres that you're going to treat. RFID technology, you know what this is. Every one of our bags has an RFID code on it that the machine reads when we put it in. And what we're doing with RFID codes is we're matching the bag with the farm and the field and the products in that bag. All that's being collected by the software. The reason we do that is because we want you to know when this product shows up on your farm, we want you to know what's in it, and we want you to know where it goes, exactly where it goes. By field identification number, we can get to that level of detail. So how would you like to be absolutely certain, if you were spraying a field today, that you had the right product in the right rates, at the right mix ratios, for the right number of acres? Beyond a doubt. We can do that. All of it's printed off on this ticket that comes with the bag. Now, here's the cool thing, as if there weren't enough of those. This is traceable data, which means everything dispensed by Precision Pack can be traced to your individual field, your individual farm. This machine software keeps that history, and you and your retail agronomist can go back in there anytime and see what happened on any given field. Now, why might traceable product use be important? Say that again. See improvement? Absolutely. Products you use that may or may not have worked, you want to figure out what to do next. Good, thank you. What else? Remember what you did. That's right. What about this? Almost everything that you produce as farmers gets consumed by somebody. There's a few exceptions, right? Cotton, I don't eat it. Doesn't mean you don't, but I don't eat it. And food companies around the world are increasingly concerned about where their raw materials come from and what's been done to that crop. We can store that history in Precision Pack, and that is available to you anytime you want it through your retail agronomist. Okay, I aspire to be a lazy person. Probably my parents wouldn't have wanted to hear that when I was a kid, but it's okay because Bill said it was fine. Right? The point is this. Technology has made so many things easy, and the easier it gets, the lazier we get. Or maybe we should think about it as more time to do more productive things, right? Amazon ships food to my house every month because who's got time to shop? And I can do all of that on my smartphone. So, where am I going? Technology should be smart, shouldn't it? Yeah. This is smart technology. Pre-programmed, touchscreen controlled, so the user's just a couple of clicks between prescribing that rate and ratio and a full product bag ready to go out to your farm and be added to the spray tank, okay? And it's moving processes that you have to do now off of your farm into the machine. Let me try to put a little context around that. Okay, what did we say? This was an 8-ounce use rate? Yeah. Comes with this measuring device, because all these things come with a measuring device of some sort, don't they? Or they should. And then I have a second product I need to add, and this one, let's say, has a 2-ounce use rate, and it comes with this measuring device. What if I had a third product? Oh, and by the way, the label says I have to use at least 2 gallons of water per acre, and I've got a 600-gallon tank, and I've got to treat 228 acres, and I need to know what my ground speed is so I can calibrate all of that. Suddenly, I'm multiplying fractions and solving for x. That's a lot to worry about when you're trying to fill a spray tank. Do you want to do all that? Do you need to do all that? No, you really don't. Because everything that you need can be right in here. Already blended, already mixed, already measured at the right rates, ready to go. And this is how we're speeding up what you have to do on the farm every day. And it's not just fast for you, it's also fast for your retailer. Because everything that Precision Pack does happens in about 30 seconds. From the time you program it to the time the product comes out in this bag, it all happens in about 30 seconds. So if I'm up here for 15 minutes today, Precision Pack could custom blend 30 different products for 30 different farms. That's a pretty efficient use of 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay, what happens if you get scared and something goes crazy? Because technology from time to time does weird things, doesn't it? Yeah. And you've seen the doorbell thing, right? Some of you probably have it on the outside of your house. We're using this doorbell and a VPN connection so that when there's an issue with Precision Pack, push that button and an engineer, a person way smarter than me, will show up on the screen to take it over, take control of the machine, diagnose, troubleshoot, add programming, change programming, add products or combinations. Okay, we can do all of that through that VPN connection. So where do we put them? I've referenced your ag retailer a couple of times. That's where these machines live. And what we're doing is we're teaching that retail staff how to run these machines, and we're teaching those agronomists when they make that prescription how to put that into the machine. And we're locating them at retail for some pretty important reasons. So let me use an example to try to illustrate that. Let's say I'm your ag retailer, and all of you are farmers who've chosen to do business with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate your business. And every one of you has a field or fields that you need to treat. So what I could do is I could collect up all this stuff here and shrink wrap it on a pallet and ship it to your place and let you figure it out, right? I could do that. You've been doing it that way for so long. Or I could just create one of these for every field you have. What would you rather do? So, audience participation portion of the program. Are you ready? Yeah. Now that you've seen it, think about Precision Pack and what it does. Which crops do you think this would be valuable technology? Who said all? Go ahead and raise your hand. All your friends know you did it. Yeah. Everybody, look, you know who this is? You said all? Okay. Everybody who said all, hold your hands up, because I want everybody else to see what lazy people look like. Because they took the shortcut to the right answer. Right? Right. I said we started in wheat herbicides in the US and Canada, but we are exploring other crops and other crop protection categories, other active ingredients, because we can and we should bring prescription crop protection to the American farmer no matter what crop they grow. I think you know this. We are still the leading food exporter in the world. And if we're going to keep that pace, we need every advantage in crop production that we can create. And that's going to take a lot of people working towards the same end to get there. Because advancing agriculture is going to come from a number of different directions. We're talking about new chemistries, new modes of action. We're talking about new formulation technologies, new ways to deliver products through technologies like Precision Pack. Okay, and all of that is critical to advancing agriculture, and it's going to take the talent of a lot of people in this room. So some of you probably know what you're going to do when you go to college, right? Okay, maybe some of you know. I heard some definite no's over here, so I'll just leave you guys alone. So, if I may, who is thinking about going off to be an engineer? Go to school to be an engineer. There's an engineer right there. All right, because we need somebody to build the next generation of this technology. You're my man. Yeah. Now, we also know that all this thing's going to take software to run it. So who's going to be a software developer? Where you at? Right over there. Okay, we need to hook you up with this guy. because the two of you are going to create this machine, and you're going to digitize it and make it communicate with all the other digital platforms that farmers are using every day. Who's going to school for chemistry? Who wants to be a chemist? There's one. Couple more. Yeah. Going to need all of you, because you're going to create the next generation of active ingredients, the new modes of action. And then we're going to need somebody to test all that stuff. So who's going to go for entomology, plant pathology, weed science? Anybody? Yep, behind me? Okay, good. There's only one? Oh my gosh. We had more chemists in the room. We're going to need some more plant pathologists. There we go, some more entomologists. Because you have to test these products for efficacy and crop safety. What about marketing, communications, journalism? Yeah, there we go. There we go. You get to tell the story. And it is a fun story to tell about what's going on in agriculture to keep us at the front of the pack and to keep us as the leading producer of the world's food supply. Because we have to sustain that for a long time, that position. And we need every advance in technology that we can get. So, maybe you don't know what you're going to do yet. That's okay. You don't have to figure that out today. And some of you might decide that you're going to stay on the farm, which is exactly what we need. Because all of these folks that just committed to you, all of you farmers, you just saw them, they committed to you that they were going to develop the next generation of technologies to help you do what we need you to do every day, and that is to keep raising that abundant and safe food supply. So, if you're not quite sure, over in the corner, we have a little tool that we developed that might help you that might help lead you through a career path or some career path options. So please look at it there. Or if you don't get to it here, it's out in the expo as well. And it has been a privilege to share this time with you. Thanks. And if we have time for a question or two, is that okay? Maybe. We've got precision pack machines with a number of ag retailers in the US and Canada, several different ag retailers. So, I mean, some of the bigger, more maybe widely known ones like Nutrien has locations. And because most of these machines are in wheat country, so you're talking about the Dakotas and across the upper tier of the states, and then of course most of Canada is wheat and canola, where a lot of these products go. Yes?
Where did you start and how did you get to where you are now?
Well, we cheated. Yeah, we acquired this technology. We acquired this technology when two other companies merged together, and they were required to sell some stuff. And we were standing at the front of the line looking at technology because FMC has invested in other application technologies that we use for other crop protection purposes. And so we already had this technology leaning, and we looked at this and said, this is absolutely the direction that we want to go. So we made that acquisition. We purchased all of the herbicide products that are currently used in Precision Pack, and we acquired a number of other active ingredients that have a fit for this technology but had not been explored yet. So we're moving in that direction as well.
We've got one over here.
Where you at?
Hi, I'm Chancey. So have your bags, I was just wondering, are they biodegradable, or have you thought about making them biodegradable?
They are not currently biodegradable. But certainly we're thinking about several things. Number one, can we manufacture these out of recycled plastic or make them recyclable? And biodegradability is certainly an option because the time that a product sits in this package between when it's dispensed and when it's used is really just days. It's a just-in-time manufacturing process, if you will. So between the time it gets dispensed and the time that your farm uses it, it may only be in there for a few days. So we could create biodegradable plastics and not have the concern, or we could use, we're not going to create them, but we could use biodegradable plastics and not be so concerned about longevity because you're not going to have that product in that package for very long.
Got one right here.
So how does this play in with pests developing resistance to herbicide and pesticides? Does this have a way to deal with that, kind of keeping track of what farmers have used and haven't used?
Yes, absolutely it does. And that's a big, loaded question. So I hope I get to all of it. The first thing is we have herbicide active ingredients with multiple different modes of action. Okay? And we have insecticide active ingredients with multiple different modes of action. So if we can put on top of Precision Pack a number of different active ingredient modes of action, it's important that you understand that we're separating classes of chemistry here. Okay? So if you take 2 pyrethroids that are different products, they're still the same class of chemistry. So you have to alternate your modes of action. So we can do that by positioning different modes of action on top of the machine, and we can custom blend them into mixes, or we can just measure them out one at a time. There are a number of insecticides, for example, that are only used one product at a time. So that's part A, and I think part B that I heard is if we have a historic record of what's been applied to any given field, and we can start to see pest resistance showing up, we can look back and see what we did, and we can determine from a backwards look that maybe we spent too much time using the same mode of action. Okay, so we can certainly use history to predict the future. We can certainly use history to alter our course.
We've got one more over here.
I don't know where you are.
To your right. Behind you.
Ah!
Behind you.
Behind me,
So,
that way. Yeah.
okay, so the bags that you use are like they only one-use bags, or can you use them multiple times?
These are single-use bags. Single-use bags with an RFID code that is specific to that particular bag. So once we've used that code, we've consumed that code, now that code is associated with what happened, and that's a historic record. Yes? Excellent. All right.
Rick, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. To show our thanks, yeah, give him a round of applause. That's right. Thank you for